All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast. I am your host, Frantic. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host,
Grunt.
And we are here to talk about gaming.
And junk.
And junk. All right, so you might have noticed at the beginning I did not mention the episode number. That is because you were listening to an archived version of the Frantic Talks podcast. For some reason, we didn't go live whatever week you're listening to this. Probably follow us wherever we're about to mention to find out why. But this is going to be a shorter episode, and it is not going to have any news stories. It's just going to be whatever the title says. In this case, Top 5 Hated Enemies. Anyways, let's talk about where you can find us before we get into our countdown. So, first off, head over to Twitter. I am at FranticJ3. He is at Onyx Spartan. ONYX Spartan, all one word. You can also hit up at Frantic_Talks if you want to follow the official Frantic Talks account that tweets out podcasts, posts, and the like. Also,
or just yell at us both.
Or just yell at us both. That is an option. You can also hit up at FreakShow187, our special podcast ghost, who likes his puns. He'll either give you one or you can give him one, and he might give you one back anyways. Probably a good idea. Also, if you want to head over to twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, all one word, that's where you can find us live every Saturday, usually at 3 p.m. Eastern, usually. Kind of ironic I mention that now since this isn't a live podcast, but whatever.
Semantics.
Yeah, semantics. More than likely, something did go live on the podcast around that time. It just wasn't a podcast, probably just some gameplay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Either way, you can head over to youtube.com if you want to see the video version of this podcast and all our other podcasts except episodes 9 and before because they weren't on YouTube. They weren't in video form. I should correct myself there. You can search up Frantic Talks, hit the subscribe button. Once we get 100 subscribers, we can throw out a URL to you guys that you can share with your friends. Also, Facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word. Like us, you'll get more or less what Frantic Talks is on Twitter, but in a more Facebook form. Follow us, fellas. Head over to FranticTalks.com where you will find everything I just mentioned in the footer, along with all the podcasts, all of our posts, and all other relative information, including a link to magic.frantictalks.com where we talk about Magic the Gathering. And if none of that worked, if for some reason you just could not find us, what is the best option, Grunt?
100 times out of 10, you will find us just by simply using your favorite search engine and searching Frantic Talks.
Absolutely. So, without further ado, we're going to start counting down our top 5 most hated enemies. Now, quick stipulation about this. This is our personally hated enemies, not the most hated enemies by the general public. So, I specifically...
a lot different if they were.
Yes, it would. It would be much, much different. But I specifically tried to limit myself to stuff I'd actually fought against. I think Grunt did the same.
Yep.
So if there's something that did not make this list, we either didn't fight it or didn't find it as annoying. But that being said, you can let us know your top 5s by hitting up the @Frantic_Talks account on Twitter. Let us know what your top 5 hated enemies. And with that being said, let's get into honorable mentions, of which there are many more on Grunt's side than on mine. So Grunt.
Yes. I will start with some of mine. My first honorable mention is more so of a joke, but it's also true because it's a mortal enemy of mine. Ledges. Any game, ever.
Just straight up ledges, something you would fall off of, correct?
Yes. I have the problem of either not making a jump because I hit the ledge and just kind of like slid to my death, fell to my death, or just walking off because I've done that before when I'm the last guardian standing in like a Vault of Glass raid in Destiny.
Yeah. So, that's happened.
So... ledges are my mortal enemy.
Okay. We have an honorable mention in common. Save that for last. What are your other ones?
Mine are the Overseers from Dishonored and Dishonored 2. Briefly, they are like kind of like high-ranking officers in the Dishonored universe's City Watch. Mm-hmm. The part that really annoys me about them is in the original Dishonored, they have these music boxes, which if they spot you, they start playing the music for these boxes, and it disrupts your powers. So you can't possess a rat and run away, or blink off the thing you're sitting on to a ledge. I know. Don't say anything about that. And run away. You're there.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes.
Well then, I can't say I don't blame you. I haven't really encountered them yet in my current running of Dishonored 2, so
yeah, I don't know.
Keep an eye out for them.
I don't know how they are in Dishonored 2 yet, because I haven't done myself either, but that's at least not at the time of this recording.
Okay, well, seems good. And then do you have any others, or is it just our last one?
I've got one more before the last one.
Okay.
Rax, Borderlands.
Rax are so annoying.
Borderlands 2, they're just annoying.
Flying little behemoths in the air that just attack everybody and everything.
Yes. Even if you're minding your own business, they don't care.
Yep, and that's what's so annoying about them, especially the flying part.
Yes. And that takes care of my last honorable mention before our common one.
Yeah, so I don't have as many as Grunt, but I do have one that I kind of inserted at the last second because I truly forgot. So to me, that says they aren't one of my most hated enemies, but they are definitely hated. And Grunt shares this with me because, once again, it's his honorable mention, Taken Scions from Destiny.
It's like you kill one, right before you kill it, it spawns one more. Right before you kill that one spawns two more, and before you know it, you have 1,000 Scions everywhere.
Yeah, it's like fucking like a Hydra.
Exactly.
Shoot one in the head, two more spawn out where it was. Like, oh my god.
Why?
So they're annoying. Along with the Taken enemy type, in my opinion, they are cool but kind of annoying. Just the mechanics they have. So I kind of share that hatred with many people.
It's cool turning a Taken Scion with the memory of Timur artifact. The downside is any Scions he spawns, they are not friendly.
Oh, it'd be really cool if they were.
I know. That's probably why they're not, but
yeah, that's a good point.
I want my own army of Scions.
I get out of hand fast, I imagine. All right, so we're going to move into our top 5 here. I will start us off with my number 5 hated enemy, and we will go down the line. Now, if you are only listening to the audio form, you should know that if you watch the video form, we're going to have them up on screen talking about them. So if for some reason you're like, that sounds familiar, but I can't picture it, well, there will be a picture. If you're watching live, yeah, if you're watching the video, hi. How's it going? All right, here we go. Number 5 for me is this lovely thing called a Cloud Racer. Or Cliff Racer, sorry. I said Cloud Racer. These are from Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and they would be much higher up on my list as it was on most of the lists I researched to try and get an idea of if I'd forgotten anything. But I've only played a brief amount of Morrowind. And the reason they are so annoying, besides being, the typical, oh, they fly, so they're annoying, is the fact that I played Morrowind when I was much younger, right? I was like 10, and I didn't really know much about RPGs. And I was just playing it and like, oh, this is kind of cool. I was not good at health management. And I kept dying, so I looked up a cheat code to give myself more health. This didn't come into often. It was just like, oh man, I'm really bad at this. But these motherfuckers, I couldn't kill them. I really just couldn't. So I had to literally pause the game before I die, enter this cheat code, and refill my health to try and run a few meters before I'd get attacked again. And that was my extent of Morrowind, because I could not get past these damn little things, and that's why they're on this list, because my one time playing it, they were the reason I stopped playing, which might be a recurring theme as to why we hate these things. I don't know. We'll find out here shortly, but that is my number 5.
It's definitely cause of one that makes my list.
Right, so that if there's something that caused us to quit a game, I imagine they're definitely a very annoying enemy.
Biased or not? Probably not. But hey.
We'll see. Grunt, what's your number 5?
Our friendly Cabal phalanxes.
Oh, yes. Cabal phalanxes.
Half the time they just put their big bulky shields in front of you and you have to shoot their dorky little arms.
They are the most annoying when Berserk is on.
Yes, which Berserk basically just makes it to where enemies do not flinch after taking even massive amounts of damage. So, the biggest thing I have against Cabal phalanxes, though, is when they die and bash you with their shield, and they succeed, and you're just flying across the level, smashing up against the wall, killing yourself.
Yup.
It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious to have it happen, especially when you're one of the first people to die that way. But it's like, man, come on, why? Why, guys? I thought we could be friends.
Right?
I mean, they can even do that if you're a Titan and you slam them with your Fist of Havoc. I have had that happen before.
Oh, that's rough.
Yes.
Oh, geez. Yeah, the shield bash is annoying, and they made it even better when they made Taken phalanxes who shoot shit out of their shield.
Basically the same thing, but they can do it just from farther away.
Yep. So...
No, come on. It's not fair. That's cheating.
I feel your pain.
But yes, Cabal phalanxes are my number 5 pick.
A good number 5 pick, I would say. So, for my number 4, they've already been mentioned in an honorable mention, and that is the lovely Rax from Borderlands and Borderlands 2.
Oh, not them again.
These things are so annoying. They fall into that category again where it's just like in a 3D game, flying is annoying, especially if you're a more melee-based character. Now, in Borderlands, you get guns to shoot shit, but having played infinitely more Borderlands than Morrowind, This is just, they are so goddamn annoying to just kind of be minding your own business, and next thing you know, they're all over you.
Right. And then in some areas, there's wreck hives, and it's just like, kill one. Oh, look, there's another one. Oh, look, there's another 3. It's like scions, only with wings.
Yeah, more or less, they just don't reproduce from where you shot them. They just come up out of nowhere, so.
It's true.
So I would say,
I will give the Wrecks one thing. They have a pretty awesome superhero. Wreckman is awesome.
Rackman is awesome. In Borderlands 1, isn't there a Rack boss? Like, he's a gigantic fucking Rack. Isn't that a thing?
I want to say so. I haven't played as much of the original Borderlands as I have like Borderlands 2, but I think there might be.
Yeah, surprisingly, I remember fighting him. He's not as annoying as like a group of Racks. This gigantic fucking Rack is not as annoying as a small amount of them, so.
Just bring along your nearest TDR weapon, throw it at him.
Yeah, that would work. Pretty much. All right, Grunt, what's your number 4?
Everyone's favorite green orc knockoffs, super mutants from Fallout 4.
Super mutants.
Specifically, the suicide super mutants.
Yeah, those
They're rough. Super mutants in general, because they have a huge passion for hating on humans. That's kind of why I said them the orc knockoffs. But well, I don't know. Maybe orcs don't. That's a discussion for another episode.
Oh well, the orcs are big, green, and dumb. That's their
Super
defining
mutants are too.
That's their defining feature. So you know.
Super mutants are too. So fair enough.
Yeah.
But they have a huge, passionate hatred for humanity. So you know they want to see you die. They want to eat your flesh too. Apparently.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird, but the suicide super mutants, more so specifically from my point of view, is when I'm sneaking around in the wasteland of Fallout 4 and I hear this dull beeping going on in the background. It's like, oh, okay, I know there's a super mutants carrying around this basically armed nuclear bomb. So that's, just need to be cautious for him. I'll just make a save, and then just save. I walk around the corner, and there he is, right in my face. Well, there's nothing I can do here, so I'm just going to accept fate and hope that he doesn't run around that corner again when my previous save from 5 seconds ago loads.
I imagine a lot of people have like nightmares of this beeping. It's like PTSD from the beeping.
It very easily could qualify as that. Yes. It's annoying. I can hear it right now, and I'm not even. It's been months since I played Fallout 4.
I have friends who like freak the fuck out when they hear it when they're playing, and like, oh god.
I don't blame them at all.
It's like a countdown to your death. It ups the ante. You're just like shooting stuff, and you hear this beeping. You're like, oh god, I really need to kill things. Where is it? And you just puts you on edge.
Where is it? Then you turn around to run, thinking it's coming from in front of you, and it's like ledge of them, or a group of them right in front of you. It's like, what did I ever do to deserve this?
Right? Oh, jeez. Suicide bombers are the worst.
Yes. Super mutants from Fallout 4. My number 4 pick.
Seems fitting that you'd pick Fallout 4 for your 4. All right, so
I didn't even realize that.
Oh, something's happening in the background.
I don't know what that is.
It's after hours for the podcast. That's the problem.
Podcast after hours.
Podcast after dark. Ooh. All right, so my number 3, before we get into some weird stuff here, my number 3 is this lovely thing in Halo 2 is where I hate it the most, but it's still annoying. The Halo, the Flood carrier form. I almost said the Halo carrier form. God, I'm bad at this.
Yes, you are.
The Flood carrier form from Halo, especially Halo 2, because you can't kill them. They have to explode, and that causes the little parasite forms to run around. But oh my god, they're just the most annoying things. They're my least favorite part of Halo 2, and I love Halo 2. They're just so goddamn annoying.
That says something.
What really throws it over is just the fact that, you know, if you come across one or two of them, especially in Halo 2, if you shoot one of them, the other one will react and fall over to suicide itself, and 9 times out of 10, the one that fell over first will blow that one towards you, and then it'll explode near you, or in your face.
That happened all the time in Halo 1 for me.
Yeah.
It was oh man. And then I remember several months ago playing the anniversary edition of Halo Combat Evolved, and I was playing one of the flood levels. I think it was like 343 Guilty Spark or the library, actually.
Probably the library.
Yes, with what was it, Cowbell? That's the skull that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so with Cowbell on, and the force of the explosion that those carrier forms make is increased greatly, and it's just like, man,
Yeah.
you cannot be anywhere near them, otherwise they will kill you.
Exactly, and that's what sucks.
Yes.
And like I said, you can't kill them. You can't cause them to like blow up by shooting them. I mean, you do cause them to blow up, but it's because they fall over and blow up, not when you like shoot them with a sniper or something. So
Right.
that's what's so annoying about them.
That's a very good number 3 pick, I think.
I'd say so too. That's why I put it there.
Well, all right then.
Yeah, okay. Well, if I have a good number 3, you must have a good number 3. What's your number 3, Grunt?
My number 3 literally made me quit playing this game. Red
We're back on
Scorpions
that.
from Fallout New Vegas.
Good old Rad Scorpions. Now, the picture, I will admit, I do have an NPC that was a Rad Scorpion, but anyways, it's Rad Scorpions nonetheless.
I kind of want to see this after we're done here.
His name is Charlie. I think it's actually from New Vegas.
See, I wouldn't know because the Rad Scorpions made me rage quit the game. Much like with your tale of the Cliff Racers from Morrowind, I was new to the whole RPG genre, so I was horrible at it too. Also really bad at scavenging for stuff, so I couldn't find said health potions or health packs or whatever. Potions.
Stim packs, yeah.
Stim packs, yes.
Health potions and Fallout. That's fun.
I mean, hey, there's probably a mod that lets you do it.
Yeah, more than likely.
Just saying. But yeah, Rat Scorpions, they were annoying how they would come out of nowhere and, well, okay, they'd come out of the ground, but basically come out of nowhere. And
that's true.
They would swarm you. They would swarm me, at least, in Fallout New Vegas. And it's like, man, I just can't go anywhere. There's a town on the other side of that barren field there, but I know there's like 20 Red Scorpions in there, so I'm done.
I feel you.
So yeah, I think this number 3 pick, Red Scorpions, fit perfectly for my list, considering that they made me rage quit a game, and I haven't gone back to play it since then, and I really want to finish New Vegas.
I feel like that would be something you'd want to do, but man, that's rough that they just make you quit like that.
Yes. So, to add to that briefly, there are Rad Scorpions in Fallout 4.
There are.
Yes, I was
Definitely
had very many flashbacks to the Rad Scorpions in New Vegas, and it's like, man, I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah, it's like, again, PTSD. You gotta wonder if like developers put annoying enemies in trying to give you PTSD.
I really hope not, but man, they do. That's evil of them.
I'd be upset too. But, you know, what else could you, what other things could you explain from it? I don't know.
Right, exactly. So,
Good pick for number 3 then, I'd say.
that's my number 3 pick.
Okay. Well, my number 2 most hated enemy of all time. Number 2. Zubats from Pokemon. Specifically in the earlier generations. So, that might sound odd. I'm a lover of Crobat, one of the later forms of Zubat. The friendly evolution from Golbat. But Zubat is so goddamn annoying. And there's a specific mixture that causes this. So, in Pokemon, if you aren't familiar, there are there's a status effects. So you could be paralyzed, you could be poisoned, you could be sleeping, that type of stuff.
Right.
Well, one of them is Confusion. And Confusion basically gives you a 50-50 shot at using the move you select. So if I choose Tackle, I have a 50-50 shot at tackling or hitting myself. Now, you don't use the move on yourself, you just hit yourself out of Confusion, but it uses a specific like base stat or whatever. That doesn't matter. But you hit yourself. So Zubat has a hilariously high speed, and when you first encounter him, he shows up in a ton of... There's like millions of him, and he is faster than pretty much everything you have. Oh, there's something in my eye. I'm going to keep talking, though. He is faster than everything you have, and almost always will use Supersonic, which will turn you confused, turning your game into a luck-based form of how many Zubats can I get away from every 5 seconds I run into them.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
That
And
is
what
annoying.
and I can tell you how much this annoyed me. Confusion is still I hate confusion in the Pokemon games because it's a 50-50 shot, or if I throw it onto an opponent's Pokemon, it's a 99% chance they will succeed and 1% chance they'll hurt themselves. And also, I am 99% sure that on my Game Boy Advance SP, there's a little dent in the on the top of it from where I totally did not bite my screen out of being mad when I was like 10.
Oh man.
That's how rage-inducing these little fuckers are. So,
bit the screen.
I was frustrated. It was making me mad.
The Zubat.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else to do. It was making me mad.
Tried to pull a Pokemon version of Ozzy Osbourne.
Basically. So, I'd say those are justified as one of my most hated enemies, if not the most, but I have a different number one that's even more annoying than these guys, so we'll get there. But that is my number two.
I can see those being really annoying.
Anyone who's played more of the original Pokemon can just like fully share in that, and I still think there's still a bit of a problem more recently because they show up in literally every cave if you're not in Gen 5. So every Pokemon game that isn't black or white, they will be there. That's what's even worse.
Nerf Zubat, please.
Right? All right, Grunt, what is your number two?
Going back to the PTSD-inducing enemies, Jackal Snipers.
Oh, God. We're talking about Legendary for sure, though, right?
Definitely on Legendary. But from pretty much all the Halo games that they were in, which I think 2...
You said Halo 2 onward, your audio cut out.
Yes, Halo 2 onward.
Yeah, again, it cut out right when you said onward. Apparently, you can't say onward.
Onward.
Oh, well, I got it that time. Okay, anyways.
But yes, their pinpoint accuracy is just like, oh my god. It's like the super mutants. You walk around a corner, you don't know they're there, and they just instantly have you dead. Especially in Halo 2 on Legendary.
Oh god.
You couldn't even react before they just had you dead. So
what's the problem with giving an aimbot a one-hit kill weapon?
Everything.
Well, that's what Jackal Snipers are in Halo 2.
Everything, yes. So many frustrations from Jackal Snipers.
Yeah.
Pretty sure when I first tried playing Halo 2 on Legendary back then, I was younger than what I am now. So I'm pretty sure I may have thrown a controller or something.
Yeah.
Sometime.
More than likely.
But it's like, why?
Seems like a good pick for number two, I'd say. Those things are a nightmare.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to move on to our number one picks. This should be interesting. So, we definitely have annoying things as our number one, and mine's going to be very hard for many to relate to unless they've played the specific game that I played, which was the I want to say 89, but I think it's a little older, game of TMNT Turtles in Time, which is the fourth Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. There's a specific enemy in this game that really annoys the hell out of me, and they are the Mousers. So, if you don't know what these are, it's hard to explain, but they're resemblant of tiny little mouse or mice, but they only have 2 legs and they have really sharp teeth, and they're literally robots, really small little robots that jump around. And in the game, the way the game was coded, since we're in primitive coding times, like when it's older video games, there are certain ways you have to defeat them or else it doesn't really work. So in a game today, you could probably hit it while it was in mid-jump and get it to not attack you. Well, in the game, if you didn't hit it before it jumped, which was a very small amount of time, it would jump up and then latch onto your hand, and you do this really funny handshake animation. And they would explode afterwards, which was fine. But because of the numbers they came in, and because every time they did that, you lost 1 point of health, and you only have like 15 or 20 health, you run into 4 or 5 of them, you've lost a third of your health just from these things because you can't hit them too quickly enough.
Ooh, that's
and they showed up a lot. It's because a lot of the game took place on the Technodrome, and then went back in time, and they were sending them back in time after you. So, oh my god, they were the most annoying things ever. Because it was like, oh, I can't attack them, I'll just handshake them. Oh, I'm losing all my health now. Oh my god.
No, stop. More of them, come on, please, no.
Now, they didn't make me rage quit the game, but oh, were they so annoying that I just could not... They're the most annoying thing in my mind.
You just don't even want to talk about them right now, I can tell.
Yeah, they're bad. I have beaten Turtles in Time. I beat it once when I was much younger, and I've beaten it more now since I'm obviously better at games than I was when I was like 7 or 8. But oh, these were the first annoying enemies I ever really encountered. Besides like the hammer guys in Super Mario, those guys are annoying, but these things take the cake for me.
So, explosive mice are bad things.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the exploding that's bad, but it's the fact that you just really couldn't fight them without being very good at timing it. Right. And a 7-year-old is not good at timing things, let me just tell you that right now.
Speak from experience?
Probably. So, that's my most hated enemy in the video games that I've played. What about you, Grunt? What's your most hated adversary?
So a little backstory on this one. It technically makes the list as a technical. That's becoming the new usually term for me. When I was brainstorming this list, when I was trying to think of it, it was like, I need a number one enemy. What is that? Oh, it's this. That's without a question. But wait, does it really count because it's kind of a boss? You fight him several times throughout the game. So I sat for like an hour arguing with myself, does it count or not? Does it count or not? I just about asked you if it would have counted or not to even make the list. But I'm like, well, a boss is technically an enemy, so yes. My number one pick for most disliked enemy is the Warden Eternal from Halo 5.
And I will back him up immediately saying, 1, annoying, yes, but 2, I think this counts because he spawns in Firefight 2 and is just as annoying in there and is an enemy in there.
Yes.
And you fight him at like 3 at once in the story mode, and this dude.
It's just, they have so much health on them in general. Last time I played it. And the only way to really do a whole lot of damage to them before, if you like playing Firefight, is to hit them in their crit spots.
Yeah.
And that's on the back of them, basically. So you have to work around to their back or have them turn around or something. And they don't want to do that. They don't care. You have like 4 tanks in front of them. Okay, he's going to shoot at all 4 tanks.
And blow them the fuck up, too.
And
that's sad
blow
part.
them up. So yes. Based on that and the times you fight them during the story mode, it's just like, I don't like these guys at all.
I can, like I said, I agree. I'll back you up, and man, do I not like the Warden Eternal.
Yes.
Jeez.
That's just...
More PTSD for everyone listening.
Yes. If you haven't played through any of these games, and you can, just give it a try. See what you think.
Yeah, you might find out that you actually enjoy their mechanics. Not to say you're right. You're probably a sadist, but nonetheless...
that escalated quickly.
They're definitely rough, and most of these, not all, but most were on many of the lists I found, including Cliff Racers. There was Zubat was on them. I want to say Super Mutants were on a few of them.
I saw Super Mutants on a couple of them, yes.
Apparently, people hate the drones in Halo. I never found them to be annoying. Like they fall into the category of flying in 3D, and that apparently makes it annoying. I'm like, that you can't just default that and then make a list out of it. But that was apparently why everyone hated them. I'm like, they're like 2 shots to kill, and they stick to walls half the time.
Right. Yeah, they're not that bad. They're bad in numbers, but generally, whenever you encounter them, it was maybe only like 5 or more.
Yeah, they weren't terribly
maybe about
bad.
5 to 10. So they weren't that bad.
Yeah.
Way worse things like aimbotting jackal snipers in those games.
Yeah. And flood carriers that explode and chain reaction other flood carriers.
Or grenades even. Oh my god.
Well, we're going to go ranting off here. Top 10 most hated equipment in games. Like shit. All right.
Boom. That's an idea.
That's the next one. Okay, so speaking of the next episode, these archived episodes will come out whenever we don't go live, like I said. So if you guys want to recommend something that we could talk about, whether it's a top 5, maybe you like something that we talked about on a previous podcast and wanted us to elaborate more, maybe a blog post you read that we had didn't go as in-depth as you hoped and want us to talk more about it, let us know. We definitely want to fill these archived podcasts with shorter topics, but enough breadth to cover roughly 30 minutes. We're creeping on 30 minutes now. So that being said, if you want to suggest those, mission accomplished, right? If you want to suggest those things, let me tell you where you guys can find us to do such that, along with continue the conversation, and let us know what your top 5 most hated enemies are. Head over to twitter.com, search up @FranticJ3 is me. He is at Onyx Spartan, ONYX Spartan, and also at Frantic_Talks is the official Frantic Talks account where you can tweet all those recommendations to any of the above. Also, hit up our good friend at FreakShow187, our special podcast ghost. He enjoys puns. That's where I'll leave that because it'll just end up with me saying pun 80 times. Also, twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, all one word. You can find us there live every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, usually. That's why we have this archive podcast, because for whatever reason we didn't go live this past Saturday. Also, youtube.com, search up Frantic Talks. You can find the video form of this podcast along with our Sunday show and maybe some other videos we're doing. The cool thing is that the podcast will always be uploaded, the Saturday after we record live. A little different with these types of episodes. But you get the audio version on Mondays, so if you want to get that a little earlier, just go subscribe on YouTube. It's free. Pretty great, right? Also,
great.
Facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word, where you can like us and find all the similar stuff that we throw on Twitter, just in a Facebook form. And if all else fails, bumping my mic, head over to FranticTalks.com, where you'll find everything I just mentioned in the footer, along with all the great stuff that is the Frantic Talks website, like articles, blog posts, same thing, podcasts, all that great stuff is there, along with a link to magic.frantictalks.com, where you'll find Magic the Gathering articles and a 10-episode podcast if you dig deep enough. And if all else fails, if for some reason you can't find Frantic Talks Grunt, 100 times out of 10, what could they do?
Search for us on their favorite search engine at Frantic Talks.
Yep, Frantic Space Talks. You'll find us. So, hope you guys enjoyed our top 5 most hated enemies. Please let us know what top 5s you would like us to hear, what top 5 hated enemies you have, along with any other topics that you think we could fit into a 30-minute podcast that isn't related to recent news necessarily, since the podcast would be released like a month later. Might be a little dated. That would be awesome. But either way, guys, that about does it for us. And I'm Frantic.
I'm Grunt.
We'll see you guys next time.